Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to our very first official rock and roll stream of our D&D sessions. This is exciting. A day that we've been preparing for a long time. In anticipation, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Feels like forever.
It does feel like forever.
Yeah. To be fair, it's been quite a while.
Especially because we were meant to start a long time ago. I think it was before lockdown, actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But then we went off on a few different tangents, and we're like, we'll play a few different campaigns.
And lockdowns happened.
And now we're here, and through all the support that we've had, we're able to stream this as well. So
Yay.
we're gonna have some fun, and hopefully you're gonna have some fun with us. So.
So.
Whew. Big start. Are you guys ready to dive in?
I thought you were about to say,
Ready.
are you ready to die?
Are you guys ready to die?
Yeah!
Not yet, please.
First session, party way.
Today is not a great day to die.
It's the only day.
Nope. I refuse.
Right.
We all ready then?
Ready when you are?
Yep.
Ready as we'll ever be.
I don't think I'm ready.
Excellent.
If we're being honest.
Can we start next week?
I don't think I'm ready.
Okay,
Big sip of water.
let's begin. Okay. So. We're beginning in 4042 AR. On the 5th day of Avis, the beginning of the hottest season, known as Flaska, where the goddess, known as Blaze, scorches the land with her radiance. There is the scent of salt in the air. On a creaking ship, approaching a large port known as Korssarin Port. It is a place of ill dispute, a place of shady deals and backhanding, yet generally peaceful, give or take. Two individuals find themselves bonding on the approaching ship coming into the harbour. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Guess I'll start.
Ooh.
My character is called Kron Yane. He's from the Bardic Circle. He used to be a traveller. Quite pale complex. Not really... Well, he's very fair, quite young adult. Eyes quite purple, more lilac in style. Hair is very long into a ponytail, drags right down the back, very white. Body is not really very strong. It looks very dexterous and doesn't weigh too much.
Okay, excellent. And yourself? How do you appear?
So I play Dara, and she's a half elf. She has long blonde hair, of medium build with blue eyes, and she's around 5'7" tall.
Very nice.
Carries a horn to her left side and a whistle in the right hand normally.
A whistle.
A whistle. It's a special, it's a long whistle, you know, not just like refereeing.
I was just going to be
That's
like,
what I thought.
Just a little whistle.
No, we're not. She's not reffing anything.
Like a
okay,
penny
not
whistle.
yet,
Okay.
not yet.
Yeah, penny whistle.
Okay.
Okay, so on the ship coming into the harbour, you found yourselves bonding a little bit on the journey from similar places, but not exactly the same place. You have both shared interest in one particular area, and as you approach this busy-looking harbour, you can see crowds amassing and gathering in the distance. You can hear the people shouting, moving around, and getting ready to dock.
Well, this is going to be quite tense, isn't it?
Actually, I find myself quite calm in these kind of situations. I'm quite used to a busy crowd.
Well, I can't say I'm much for that myself. First time I've really been on a boat for that matter. It's been a long journey though.
It has been a long journey.
Saying that, shall we head to a tavern when we get off? Start looking around for some people.
I mean, a tavern's a good place for myself to maybe pick up a little employment.
Sounds like a good start.
Let's go.
Okay, you hear all that commotion coming around as you start to pull into the docks. You feel that overwhelming crowd start to. This is a big city, and this is extremely busy. This is unnaturally busy. Some of yourselves may find yourselves in this crowd. You can see a very colourful array of people. The most diverse crowd that you, especially you two, have ever seen and could possibly ever imagine. As you pull up and eventually start docking, you feel yourselves on flat ground and start walking along the wooden planks and start making your way towards the main part of the city. You can see that all the stone buildings in the distance are, even though you're in the warmest point of what is Flazka right now, you can still feel that chilled breeze. This is a cold point of the world right now, cold point of Ark'ala, and looking into the distance, you can see people moving around across the streets, and you come across this crowd in the centre, which feels enticing. They start gathering, and more people are starting to gather on this port side. It looks like there's some form of stand, as though someone is going to make a speech or something of the ilk. You can see a few, what you can guess to be the enforcers of this area positioned around. You can see them hovering around certain individuals in particular that look of more noble origin. What are you two doing?
Well, it looks like they're getting ready for my arrival.
Well,
Setting the stage, might I say.
Well, certainly could be. Though there's quite a lot of, well, those who are very fine clothes on around here. Don't think I'd fit in with this lot. wonder what's going on.
I maybe thought once that I might fit in with this lot, as you say it. Once like a glove. However, these travels take me away from all that.
That's fair enough. Well, shall we stick around and see what's happening?
Oh, definitely. I'm always up for a bit of a party.
Okay, as you approach and start to mingle into this crowd, not much is happening at first. Just a lot of people talking amongst themselves. You two start conversing, talking about your journey over here. Something rings true on your ears as you hear this journey from afar across the waters. You turn around and see these two individuals. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah. You see about 5 foot Tansek. She's got green skin and rose quartzy coloured sort of hair, which is quite short. She's got sort of 2 eyebrow piercings, and on her face she's got these kind of circular scars, as if something used to be on her face maybe. And there's like these, and they go down onto her neck. She's wearing a sort of fur, sort of collared cloak thing just on her shoulders, a black sort of tailcoat with white lining that sort of comes up on the lapels, and a waistcoat and a pink sort of bow tie. But yeah, that's pretty much what you see when you see her. She's also got a sort of little horn that comes off, which is part of the Tansek kind of quality. But yes. Hello, are you tourists? I can tell you. I mean, I did just see you come off the boat, but you know, I can tell you are not from around here. No. Am I correct?
Correct. We're actually from quite a way away.
Oh, wonderful. So you know nothing of the city. You poor things.
We're actually looking for maybe a place to get a little drink or, maybe a bite to eat. Yes.
Oh, but yes, of course. I mean, I could be your tour guide.
You could?
I suppose you could, yes.
Wonderful. I love helping people, of course. Now, you have to keep your wits about you in this city. The city is very, very... there are some shady people about and secrets. So you've got to be careful. Keep everything on you at all times. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Yes? Okay, cool. Okay, brilliant. So, let's see. We are in the Piscator Quad, so for food, let's think... you could probably go to the Synod Quad, maybe? Would that be incorrect in saying? For the main district area?
You can find plenty of establishments around.
Oh. Let's go over there. Did you say you said you liked the stage I overheard?
I think it's become more of a like by this point.
Oh, okay. Well, there might be some places in the taverns around here that you could, get up on stage. Do you play that whistle?
I do.
Oh, we shall have to hear it. Let's go.
Okay, as you get caught up in the moment, you start to hear a lot of commotion, a lot of the chatting that was happening sort of dies down, but then a lot of movement happens around this raised sort of stage area of where these crowds are starting to amass. Now, you see a few well-armoured individuals. One of them stands out in particular, completely helmed individual. Looks like they have like a mechanically powered leg woven into their fabric, and you start to see a lot of movement upon this pedestal. upon this stage in the middle of this harbour that looks like it's been set up. You watch as this individual starts to make their presence known. This tall, for a gnome individual presents themselves very elegantly, this flowing cape, loads of gadgets and trinkets donning them. You can see that some of them are glimmering and glittering with like arcane resonance. You can see this one thing sort of like floating around his being. Looks like a male, maybe mid, late in their age, not entirely sure. Very difficult to tell with gnomes a lot of the time. But as they come onto the stage, the rest of the crowd sort of like starts to die down. And just presents themselves. Welcome to the next Gizmotink Industries products. I thank you all for coming out today. We're going to have a small peek into the future here. Now, some things are in the works. Behind the scenes, you don't see those things, but this, now, we will show this to you today. We'll show the magnificence of this today. So, brought to you originally from overseas, we're working on our very own variation of this product. And we will have a demonstration of its power. And you just watch as, like, reaches beneath his, like, billowing cloak and pulls out this strange crystal-like device glowing with radiant red energy. Now, you may have seen these before. Maybe not like these, but I'm sure many of you have heard of all our imported lightning charges. Now, why not make them into something different? Something like a fire charge. Something to help in everyday life. Now we can bring these things to life if we just have a bit of imagination behind us. Our friends overseas seem to lack this. They are stuck in their ways. They are set on what is their course, but they don't think. So, see, we have a demonstration of this product. And you just watch as the whole crowd starts to like murmur and shimmer and thank you, that one person.
Flying little flag.
So you watch as he just grabs open the like what appears to be like this ceiling on this like crystal-like gem, and just wrenches it open into the air. And you just watch as this energy, this fire-like radiant energy, just erupts into the sky. In sort of like a beam to start with, and then it sort of like sparses and moves outwards, a bit mushroom cloud effect. A lot of energy expelled from this. And you just hear everyone start to like uproar, whoa! And Spattering applause. So, why can't we bring these things to the home? Well, we can. These are the types of things that you can only imagine to be the future. If we can harness these, control these, not everything needs to be an explosion of energy, but it can be controlled, slow release. Maybe such as powering a stove. We can bring these things to life. Make it easy. At this point, you just watch as there is like an abundance of guards around this individual, stationed a fair distance from them, but around the stage right now. And you watch as you see two of these crystals start to float on either side of the stage. They seem to be like hovering, and people are starting to like whisper. The person in the center doesn't seem to have noticed anything yet, and just watch as wrenched open on either side, a burst of energy just collides in the center and explodes on the whole stage. You can see nothing but fire, flames, and this radiant energy just billowing out. People start to panic and back off. A few people are starting to like scurry off right now, wondering like what is happening, and you have no idea where this individual that was on stage in the center of this just went. A few screams emanate across. Are you guys doing anything at all? There's a lot of you, well, all of you are in this crowd now, right now, drawn by the
Why are people
populace.
panicking? These things happen over time here. Ugh. Ugh.
I'm gonna be. I can't say I'm too interested in these demonstrations, but it was very flashy. I'm gonna be looking at the fire. I'm just gonna be going.
See, he gets
Again!
it. He gets it. That guy gets it. Yeah. Again.
A lot of people are scattering right now, and you just watch as this individual that was on stage surfaces from this explosion from way beneath where the explosion happened, scurrying back up onto the actual stage itself. This slightly, he has this almost like trilby-like hat with a big feather in it, and these big goggles resting just beneath it. And this feather is completely burnt out, and he just like quickly like takes it off and throws it at one of the guards, and gets a new hat, exactly the same one.
When you bob back up, can I have just like given you some money, like I bet that you were dead?
And you just see him like scurrying back up. It is all part of the show. All part of the show. Oh, see how much power they contain. Whew. You can see him looking around like a little nervously right now.
So I'm guessing it's not actually part of the show.
Make an insight check.
Okay.
First roll the new campaign.
It's a low one. That's a 4.
Can we restart?
Do we get advantage for the first roll?
No, you do not. It is a
Damn.
4. You're starting strong.
Yep.
You're not entirely sure. He seems to have convinced a lot of the crowd, and like a few people start to make their way back. A few other people are just like standing on the outskirts and starting to really back away from this area. It is becoming a lot more sparse. in the immediate vicinity around here, like you can actually make out the floor now. And you can notice that there are like a few tables and such set up, serving ales and such. Whatever this is, it feels like it is an event within itself. Yeah, you can just watch as everything sort of starts to die down a little bit, and takes back to the stage. And yes, yeah. All part of the act. No worries. Well, that was explosive, wasn't it? It will be a lot more secure than this when you purchase this. It'll all be available in the showroom. Just make your way down there if you're interested in any of the Gizmotink products. Remember that those of you who may not know me, I am Lord Gerford Gizmotink of Gizmotink Industries, and there is a lot more than we can do than just explosions.
Did you say Gerford?
No, Gerford.
Oh, Gerford, okay.
Gerford.
In the middle of his speech, you'll have seen me completely lose interest and go straight to the ale stand. I'll be beckoning him over.
Yep.
I'll go,
I'll follow.
Alright, well, in this scenario, would you like to introduce your appearances?
of course. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. You will see quite a tall, quite a well-built Vasithan male.
Mm-hmm.
Short black hair, some tattoos and some scars on his arms that are out. Little vest with a backpack on. Little plate covering his knee. It's probably about all the armour he could afford at the moment. A massive great axe on his back. And a big smile across his face because he's just found the ale stand.
Excellent. And yourself?
Cool. Well, you'd see leaning towards the more human-looking half-elf. I'm blue. I am 6'2". I've got a long jacket on, just a pair of pants and some boots, but no top on. I have tattoos all over my chest, which, if any of you know about religion, you might recognise, but I'll not mention at the moment. And I have probably the biggest greatsword you'll have ever seen at my side. It is literally about the same size as me. I will also be smiling at the alcohol.
Not to mention my skin is nude, but also with a tint of blue. Cool.
Excellent. Yeah, and for those watching, anyone with, well, especially yourself, obviously have an amphibious nature to you.
Seems so. I am blue.
Because of that. Just explaining that.
It's just paint. I just like the colour.
Yeah,
Every
just
morning.
painting yourself.
Body
Boob's just
paint.
part of a blue man group, that's all.
Okay. All right. As you walk over to the ale stand and the crowds start to disperse, I want you to roll a perception check.
Starting off with a 4.
That's 2 4s.
No.
Can we restart?
Take 2.
Too obsessed with the ale.
You focus on that ale so hard, walking straight up to the proprietor and just ordering everything they've got.
I'll use the bet money.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Now share it out.
I mean, that'll buy you a substantial amount of ale, I'd imagine, if you like trading the gold.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah. But yeah, as you completely zone in on this, not noticing anything around you. The crowd depleted, some still there, some very tentative. A lot of people have moved away and are sort of like on the outskirts of where this sort of like plinth is in the centre, and you just hear this shot, this explosion, this small controlled explosion happen, and those of you looking at Gerford on the stand just watch as almost in the blink of an eye you watch something collide as this floating thing round his head comes round and seems to intercept something. You see this flash, this spark, and you just hear a shouting, "Ah!" This shout of pain coming from the back of where this crowd is. Everyone's eyes are drawn to this outbreak, and you just see this individual with this large gun with a bullet lodged into the shoulder, blood trickling down, in panic, and they just grab hold of everything and start to run. What are you guys doing?
Shall we help, or...?
Well, I'm gonna pull out my pistol for a start and start running.
Next my drink.
I'll follow him then.
Love a fight. I'm just running.
Okay. As you all start to make your way into this area, you watch as the crowds really do start to disperse now. After this has happened, you watch as people, all the guards around Gerford start to just like go straight over him, and he just in the commotion as he's sort of like picked up by this heavy set guard of his, you can just see him like reaching over his shoulder and just shouting out, visit the showroom if you want any this is the what is it again?
This is something.
This is whilst he's fighting the car.
Yeah, yeah. This is something.
That's it.
Something really, really cool.
I know I had the note somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the projectile protector. If anyone else is interested in this, or the PP for short. That's a work in progress. That name. Okay, so well, and you can just see him like getting dragged further and further away as like you guys are sort of like torn between the speech and like looking at this guy who's sort of like stumbling away bleeding right now, and he just shouts out last second before he sort of like jumps onto the docks below. 50 gold pieces for the person that catches him.
Done.
Okay, so as all of this happens, the crowds start to completely disperse. Gerford disappears over the side. You're left in this completely open space right now as all of you start to get weapons out. Not backing down from a fight, as it would seem. And you can see very few other people in this area. You can see that all of the other enforcers of the area have just guarded what you assumed to be the nobles and started escorting them away. There are only 2 enforcers left side by side next to you two that were just having a beer and looking quite sheepish right now. As they just try and neck it as fast as possible. So, let's roll initiative.
Hey. We all get 4s again, right?
Seeing as though we've not met him yet, I hope
my
we're fighting you.
Yeah.
Oh my
4.
god.
Well, you got a 4 again.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
5.
Dash
I know. Yay!
17.
6.
Let's
Jail.
go!
Jail's here if people want it. Oh, I am going this shit.
Mm.
19.
Wow.
That's 20.
Hey! You made up for all the
But
fun.
you're not here.
That's true.
Who's this
If you're on the
guy?
other side of town, you're going to want to run into
Just comes jogging in. Like, hey.
Well, as the crowd disperses, and as I said, very few people remain here. It looks as though there are a few people positioned around near the actual stand itself that are starting to climb up it with weapons ready, bearing down on Gerford as he's been dragged away shouting. You can see these people starting to impose on that area. Yourself, very notable in the centre of this area. If you'd like to describe yourself.
Yeah, you see, what is essentially a 7-foot robot.
Very notable.
Yeah, right, so yeah, metal head. No real features, no ears, no real nose, but blood red, sort of shining eyes. Like a hinge-like jaw, just showing like chrome teeth. Silver sort of metal plates over sort of quite dark, almost black, like cogs, tubes and pistons. Quite big torso, but very thin, like sort of stomach area, so it's almost like just a spine and tubes, things like that. But very bright purple pants, sort of shorts, like cropped shorts, sandals and a hempen rope belt.
And he's trying to shoot.
What are you doing? In the heat of this moment, and everyone's just pulled out their swords, people are dispersing, there's some people chasing down Gerford. What are you doing? You're just stood in the centre, sort of like looking very confused by this right now.
Well, I'll be saying, not cool, man.
Yes.
I was enjoying that.
Very good. So you doing any actions or?
Just, yeah, looking around. Who did that?
Okay, you turn around and you immediately see this person carrying this rather large gun that appears to be stumbling away right now, very injured. The two enforcers that have just downed the ale with you guys are just about to put them on the table and look to be going towards. All right. Let's open the battlefield.
Oh, already? Oh, lordy. Ah.
Let's do this.
Oh. Come on. Get that map shown.
Yeah, I'm alright.
Very nice.
Yay!
Look at it.
There we are.
Ah. Okay.
Oh yes, so I do need to
Yep.
Oh, we got everyone, let's go.
Oh, look at the minis.
stand everything up. Oh, apart from that one. That one fell in the explosion. And yeah, if you want to have a quick look at your own minis.
Yeah, I can't reach
We
it.
have not seen these yet.
Yeah, you.
None
None of them have
We
seen
just
their own
destroyed
minis
it.
yet because I painted them over the weekend and finished glossing certain sections of them technically today.
Yeah.
But over the last 3 days I've been applying various coats.
He's awesome.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that was cool. He's reminded me of so many details. I forgot
Here,
to
back
say.
That guy with the gun, apparently.
Right, over here.
I forgot about that.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, keep it.
Where were you?
I was next to Dara, I think. Yeah.
I'm with you, where are you?
Just over there.
Oh, so good.
Excellent. All right. Top of the round.
Yay.
Alright, Mr. Robot Man.
Mr. Robot Man.
That is actually my name.
Is it?
Yeah, Mr. Robot. Yeah.
Mr. Robot Man.
So yes. Dr. Thread,
Yeah.
shall we?
That's a 3 ad note, yeah.
Dr. Free Ad Naught.
That's a great
Oh, so Dreadnought. Okay.
Ah, dear.
I like it.
Okay, so what are you doing?
I'll turn to him. Stop.
I would say make an intimidation check, but I will probably just, I don't know, maybe so actually. You are quite, like, the red eyes and just completely stone-faced expression with, like, bared teeth. You make an intimidation
It can
check.
move a little bit, like
Oh.
it's a bit of a hinge. Stop.
7
Although that is a
quite-
little less intimidating and more like a.
I think it's pretty
vengeful-
intimidating.
vengeful-
Yeah, I think it's pretty intimidating. Roll that.
Giant robot told me to stop. I'd be.
You'd be like, with red eyes as well.
I'm not sure I'd stop running.
I will walk towards this thing.
He's wearing very friendly
Friendly
attire.
shorts. It's for friendly shorts.
Well, we'll see how intimidating you are.
16.
16?
Oh.
Okay. They're sort of like trying to get out of the main entrance right now. You're almost in that way. And they definitely hesitate for a moment at the sheer sight of you. You can just see their face holding this wound and the gun in the other hand, like back off a little bit, and it slows them down for sure as they start to make their way out. Are you doing anything else?
I'll be making my way towards him. Say, stop. I will help, but you have ruined my day.
All right, move yourself closer if you can. Yep, just
way?
to the guy there.
This way.
No, the
Near the
grey
tower.
guy.
Oh, is it?
Oh, you
do
think
it.
this guy?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'll be trying to smile. Horrifying.
Yes, harrowing almost.
Face unexpressionless. I am smiling.
Okay, looking extremely creeped out and almost terrified right now. We got Dara.
And I'm within 60 foot, right?
Yes,
Within 30.
you're within 30.
So,
Mm.
she's gonna say to me, you appear to be injured. Maybe, perhaps that we can help patch that up for you.
Are you being genuine?
Well, I don't know. Does he know?
Does he want it to be?
Are you rolling a deception check? Is really my question.
Let's do it.
Okay.
pretty good.
Not as good as 19. though.
Oh. No healing for you, buddy, man.
Yeah, you watch as his eyes light up, and he like looks on towards you, and says, that would be nice, and then just like realizes what you're doing, and starts to back off from you.
Hi.
That was your only chance.
I am going to cast Healing Word on him.
Oh, okay. All right. Roll.
7.
It's a yeah. I mean, it's a willing creature,
Yep.
and it
He did
saw
say-
through.
He said that would be nice.
And it saw, and he saw through what you were doing, and he'd allow it.
7 points of healing.
Really?
Why are we helping this guy? I'm so confused.
Don't know his motives.
True.
And then I'm just going to,
Okay, what are you doing then?
and then I'm just going to wink at him and end my turn there.
Okay, looking very confused at you now. Just sort of, yeah, thank you.
Now I shall wink.
Just nods back. Okay, that brings us to Crom.
Right. I'm gonna shout over to him. I wouldn't move any further if I was you, unless you fancy going down. I'm just gonna pull out the saber.
Okay, he just puts his hands up. He's like, I'm getting very mixed signals from all of you. Especially you. Okay.
So, I will bonus action use my mark to gain advantage and hold.
Hold. Right. Okay. All right. That is going to bring it to their turn.
He has no idea what he's doing.
Very confused of
Very
what is
confused.
happening. So, I'm just gonna mosey on around here. You're in range, aren't you?
Yeah, if he wants to attack.
If he tries to move, you.
Where's our measure is?
Yeah, over here under my cookie.
I want a 30 foot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep, that's
the
the.
one.
I'll move my cookie.
Okay, they get up. But they are exiting. Classic
Guard's just leaving.
pursuit right now. Oh,
He's gone.
just falls in the water. He is actually. I mean, these guys are just gonna dash.
Don't want to get involved in
Like,
that.
I am not getting
And he is
involved.
going to dash as well.
Did he? Were you
But
close enough?
you'd get an attack of opportunity if you want to take it.
As soon as he started running, I'm sure.
Opportunity be like a grapple.
I'm not entirely sure. I'll allow it.
Want to grapple and just try and pull that bullet out. Just
Jesus. All right. So you're just gonna shove your metal fist
Oh.
into his wounds.
say, shh. It says okay.
Okay. I mean, firstly, you're gonna have to make the grapple check. And he is not wanting to be grabbed by
Oh my.
a 7-foot metal machine, though his athletics check was not very good. That would be a 9 against your
Skills.
cons-
It's your athletics.
yeah, your athletics check.
I've never actually grappled it.
There you go. The more you know.
6. What?
Really?
The rolls are going so well.
7-foot giant robot, and he's like,
They're gonna give you a nice caressing hug.
Yeah, you just sort of like hug him on the way past, like gently rub against him, and
Even more confused.
even more confused now. This individual is bolting, just dashes as fast as possible.
You take a shot.
Okay, you take your shot.
Oh no.
So that is 15 to hit.
15 just hits.
I'll take it. 10, 16. I didn't actually roll, I'm going to do that. Okay, 19 points of piercing damage.
Jeez.
big
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fair,
Who's in there?
One.
Oh, this is the part where we have to do maths now.
Yeah, I know, right?
This is where the crickets play.
Yeah. Ah, no, I remembered how to do maths. Don't worry, we got this.
Got this.
All right, that's your held action. That's everyone moving so far. In the distance, you'll have. In fact, I want all of you to roll perception.
Oh,
That's a 6. I'm still just.
that's a nat 20
Oh,
or a
nice.
24.
Nine.
Nat 20 or 23.
Unnatural 20.
14.
Nah, that's a
Let
9.
me swap these for earlier.
Did great.
All right, so the three of you notice in the distance, a few of you sort of like hear some ruckus behind you as more people, more crowds dispersing, and you watch this. These similarly dressed individuals in this crimson attire. This large figure, can't make out exactly who or what they are, but they appear to have like a long like Mohican down the back that you can make out. Is chasing after some other people that appear to be similar in stature and semblance to the individuals that appear to be attacking right now. This individual and three others are making their mark as they start to move in pursuit of these individuals.
So they're chasing the little gnome.
No,
No,
The
but
gnome's
it's
over there.
The gnomes run that way.
Yeah.
These
Would I recognise the crimson attire as being something in the city? Or?
Roll a history check.
What's with my low rolls? 9.
9. There's a lot of groups that are drawn to this area. You don't know this one,
Okay. Gotcha.
but you gather that they're probably some form of adventuring group.
Mhm.
Okay, that brings us to Max.
Okay, is this a wall or is it like a?
It is a wall, yeah. You do have to exit through the gate,
Okay, could I have the 30?
or try and vault
measuring
it.
stick, please. Okay. If I got to here, would I be able to see him?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna walk over. As I get to about here, I'm gonna throw my tankard down. I'm gonna take the spear off my back, and then I'm gonna go. I'm just going to throw it straight at its back.
Oh.
Okay, just launching that spear. Roll to hit.
Natural 20 or 22.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean that hits. Yeah, yeah, that'd do it.
Only just though, right?
I think I get 1d8 because I'm proficient.
No, I think that's supposed to be.
Oh right, okay, yeah, that's fine.
If it's one-handed. 6.
That's 6 plus 2, so that's 12 because it doubles plus 2, so that's 14.
Nice.
Yeah, 14 damage. Yeah.
You're like big.
Maths.
Maths.
All right. As the spear just sticks straight through the shoulder blade of this individual, slamming through, just instantly slams them to the ground as they feel that pain, shout out, and have to like grapple the way back up onto their feet. They look to their friends as they sort of start to like try and wrench it out, and one of the friends like just grabs hold of it and just foot on the back pulls it out as they like covers it up as much as possible, grimacing, and just continues trying to run.
Okay. As my bonus action, you'll see sort of my legs tense. Go across my hand. I'll say, "Where are you going?" And I'm going to bonus action supernatural speed. So as a bonus action, I can dash.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you catch up. You can definitely make it.
I don't know if it's on this turn or the next turn. I think this turn uses it, and then I can use it.
Right.
Or is
Okay.
it like
Right.
expedition?
It's like
so.
expeditious retreat then.
Cool.
Then I'll pull my.
Although I think
Wait, is it
expeditious
bonus
retreat.
action?
You
Retreat says
It
on
says a
this
recurring bonus action you can
Yeah.
focus, so it's after.
It's a bonus action to use, and then it's every other.
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
Right.
So I'll
Cool.
pull out my great axe and just ready myself to sprint at him.
All right. Double check it because you can always move up, but that's absolutely fine. Is that the end of your turn?
It is indeed.
All right. Yourself.
Okey-doke. I will run towards you. I've just seen you go that way. And I'll say, what are we doing then? Are we killing this fella?
It's 50 gold right there.
Fair enough. I will bonus action Misty Step to him.
Okay.
This guy's having a bad day.
It's this fella, isn't it?
It is
Mhm.
indeed.
Yeah. And I presume he's trying to run away, so I'll tap him on the shoulder.
Yep.
And then swing down the great sword. And I'll use Spirit Bleed as well to attack
You
him.
tap him on what's left of his shoulder.
I'll try and get him. Oh, that's not very good.
Oh, buddy.
That's 12 to hit.
No, that does not.
Next time, mate, eh?
Just cowering in fear, launches themselves out of the way of this giant blade that just ting into the solid stone floor.
Yeah. That's the end of my go.
Okay.
Although I can't note because I've Misty Stepped, I've used a spell, so that affects my AC.
Yes. Okay, and at the very bottom.
Oh, such chaos. I'm just going to walk over and get an ale.
Okay.
Where was the ale? Well, I'll start
Where the guards are.
I'll be able to. Actually, I'll dash it.
Yeah. It's
Sprint into
important.
the air. What's the hell?
Casually sprint.
Yeah. You can see that the proprietor of the place has definitely abandoned ship right now.
Yeah, free drinks.
What?
Beautiful.
And we just ran away from that.
50 gold.
See how much ale you can get with that?
Hey
Not as
guys,
much.
guys, free drinks. And yeah, that's my turn.
Okay. Alright, that brings us back to the top of the round.
Okay.
Dr. 3 Admiral, take it away.
Okay, I'll be shouting to the guy. I can find you from your blood trail, and but
That's horrific.
Fail. Oh.
That is terrifying.
Oh no.
but I will. Will I have seen these guys running?
Yes,
After? Yeah.
definitely.
Right, I'll head up here.
I think 30 will get you to about the top.
Yeah, about here. Like,
No, like right on the edge.
yeah. Right, I'll be looking down at it.
Oh, are those guys after him still?
It would appear so, yeah.
And I'll shout down to them. Stop! What are you doing?
They barely pay any attention to you. They are focused straight on right now.
Okay. I just look unhappy with them.
Okay.
Again, sounds terrifying.
Alright, Daira.
I'm just going to say to myself,
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess this isn't the place for negotiation. And I'll follow the robot guy.
Okay.
Robo Man.
Robo guy.
Slightly curious, maybe a little tentative.
Yes. I shall cast Dissonant Whispers on this guy.
That's his guard.
He's helping.
He's the guard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the guard.
Oh, he's helping us.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's
There,
carrying
Those guys
there
are
are
the bad
there are actually
I won't do that then.
but yeah, he's the there are a few more guards around Gerford, but that is the main guard that is carrying Gerford right now away.
It's like, no, you must not.
Oh,
be.
see, I've just noticed the little person. Where's the guy that we was chasing?
He's
Where is over there?
That guy's over there.
I weren't going
but there's
that way.
those people after him as well.
Yeah, you watched the other person that you spoke to like run completely out of this area, out of your sight, and you watched as two strangers that had slammed the ale down across the way started following them.
Yeah, so I'll cast
Yeah, you can. Actually see
Dissonant
them.
Whispers to that guy.
Yeah, okay.
If that's
Yeah,
alright.
yeah, you can actually
Obviously,
see them
the,
over
the
the wall.
obvious enemy, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So it's a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, that is a 17.
Yeah, he passes that. He doesn't even.
A good roll, huh?
Amen.
So, nothing happens on the fail. On the fail save? I don't think it does.
No.
Dissonant whispers.
I think if it fails, it just fails.
Mm.
If
Yeah,
it's a
it
cantrip,
fails.
definitely does.
Okay,
No,
so
it's not.
all right, as you build up that magic around your hands, and using the power of voice, try and affect this individual. It seems to sort of start to coalesce around the individual, but then it just seems like there's a spark missing and seems to fade. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's the end of my turn for now.
Okay.
Before we get into it, how did we do the reload stuff? Is it just one shot per turn, or
I really hope that you have this.
in that case, for now, just in case, I'll spend a mark to use a reaction to reload.
Okay.
doubt. Run up to the platform as well.
Okay. But yeah, I believe it depends on what gun you're using, so it should say on your gun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll bonus action dash up there.
No.
Not like that.
Scar!
That's how I
Acrobatics
dash.
fails. And yeah, I think I'm going to take a shot at that guy. He's running away.
Oh, that guy that's running away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sound effects.
Very good, very good.
So realistic.
So yeah, that's 23.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, that hits.
I'm really mad I didn't crit. It's 15 points piercing.
Okay.
How's this guy looking?
He's not looking alive.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking for non-lethal, but yes.
Non-lethally shot him.
Well, you non-lethally shot him. Yeah. Wasn't going to happen, but yeah. How does this happen then?
How do you not leave the shoot?
With an oh shit.
Does this hold up in court?
Just show it. Shouldn't have run away then. Aim with his leg. Bang.
All right, you just take out his leg. You watch as the entire muscle just severs at the bottom. You don't know how or why, but something must have pinged, and his leg just falls into disarray, and he just collides face down into the ground. You're not entirely sure if he's dead or if he's alive, but very soon you imagine that he might be bleeding out.
Yep.
His friends or acquaintances or whatever these people are look behind and just continue onwards.
Knocking down, knocking
So
down.
they don't believe in leave no man behind. They're just legging it.
Taking it.
Screw that.
Alright, is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Okay. That brings us to all of them, so
Again,
yeah, as these guys start to disappear completely from view, and these are all well, they're dashing around right now.
Back over here.
Yeah, so they're making a lot of progress. Those two.
Just these as well.
Yeah.
These two.
Mhm. They're going that way, dashing as fast as possible.
You're destroying the city. Is that an actual like full wall, or is that a short wall like that? Like what?
That is a short one.
That's a short wall.
Yeah.
so I can see the entire dot kind of thing.
Yeah, the two guards that are left at the table are just going to look around at everything happening right now and just join you and pick up another drink.
Yeah. You have to love the city, am I right?
Just another day.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell these people, and they're all getting involved.
Well,
Aren't you enforcers?
and the rest of them have it.
Of course, of course. Silly me.
Okay, so that brings us to Max.
Okay, did they take my spear or did they like drop it after they pulled it out?
Oh no, they dropped it, yeah.
Oh, sweet, okay. I was going to be very angry. So I'm going to go, Storm! Easy money! I'm going to run over using my bonus action dash, pick him up, grab my spear, and then I'm going to run round this way to try and catch up with the gnome man.
Okay.
And, can I see him from there?
You're grabbing hold of the corpse.
Oh yeah, he said 50 gold. 100%. I'm running with him. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I see the gnome?
You can, yeah. He's on the edge of the dock, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go. Hey, Mr. Tinkle Bottoms, 50 gold, yeah.
You're shouting over, and like he scrambles up and like looks over the shoulder of
I'll
this.
just be holding the body by its head.
Yes. Not quite now though. Bring it to the industries.
Would a piece do? It's quite heavy.
Just running.
He's being chased by a horde.
Yeah. At this point, he sort of like said his piece, and he's just being like tucked down again.
Okay, I'll say this and I'll go. I hope it will, and I'll just rip the remaining leg off.
All right. Just make a strength check for me.
Oh dear.
50 gold's 50 gold.
Thanks, I hate it.
I mean, this took a turn.
Session 1.
Ripping off.
That's going to be a struggle because that's a 7.
7. All right.
So I'm going to be like,
You sort of like try and the remaining of this leg, like the tendons that are sort of like attaching the rest of this, they're quite firm still.
Can I see him?
Who?
Him.
He'd
from where I
actually.
am.
Ooh. Make a perception check.
I'll spend the remainder of my go like with my foot on the body that's on the floor, going, come on, come on.
You're just hearing like a
That's a 9.
a 9. You don't quite catch this over the sort of like the half wall. Difficult as he's sort of like bent down and trying to like crank it over his knee right now.
Could I see it from where I am?
Even
No,
from
definitely
Oh,
not.
no.
Especially not at your
Oh, you
height.
see him from up there, no?
I thought
No.
it was a short.
Not with your perception
If
check
I
of
can-
7.
If I can see the guys chasing him, I'll sort of
Oh,
go.
right.
Right with you. Storm, more.
I'll just amble up to here, because that's my 30 feet, I think.
Yeah, that'll be the end of my go.
And I'll be like, Rage, he didn't ask for help, so, and he probably best taking his head than his leg. He's not going to know where it is he?
That's a good point.
Alright, hold him still.
Alright, you just stretch out the corpse, which is definitely a corpse now, and just start to. With this
Non-lethal shot.
that non-lethal shot took a turn. Okay.
One of them in alive, I guess not.
Alright, well, is that the end of your turn?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll just have you, as part of this, just make a strength check for me.
Oh, because I'm...
Obviously you're wielding your blade.
Yes.
This is brutal.
Oh, crit fail.
Oh, bloody no.
So that's
Dice
3.
trail.
Alright, you sort of like clatter into the ground, slicing like half of the actual neck open as blood just starts to pour out of it. And then you just like, just take another swing and try again.
I said, hold him still.
Is he made like that robot guy? What the hell?
And you just start hacking away, trying to get through the neck. Alright, is that the end of your turn then? Yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. Alright, that brings us to Jade.
Okay. I will take my ale
Mhm.
and have a little mosey over to the stage. Was there anything underneath the stage? Like any stock or crates hanging around?
Make an investigation check.
Oh, that's a. Oh no! Oh no! That is a. Oh, okay, 6.
6.
Yeah,
Okay.
I rolled a 2. I'm switching out.
Yeah,
Okay,
you sort of like try and look under this stage that's been set up, and you don't notice anything at all. Like you see a few empty crates, a few barrels. You're not entirely sure what's in them. You sort of like walk over to them and like try and give them a nudge through the hole, and they don't appear to have anything in them.
Okay. I will. So I'd have used 30 feet to get over to the stage. Right,
Yes,
to do
yeah, it
that?
would be,
Yeah.
that's
So don't
30
have
feet. Well, up on top.
Oh right, would it have to be over there? Like that?
Yeah.
I will take a perch and have a swig of my ale.
Okay.
I'll just say, these Gizmotink events, they never end well for some reason. There's always some drama or chaos happening. You know, they really need to get the shit sorted, really.
Okay. Dr. Thread.
I will be running and dashing at these guys.
Okay. And you should be able to reach them just. Yeah.
So to be clear, you're going to fight all of them on your own.
To be fair, he's a 7-foot robot. I like his chances.
I'll say, reconsider your actions. Violence begets violence.
Okay.
Friends.
Yeah, you trying to talk them down even more. Just throw me a charisma check.
Oh God.
I want to know if you're actually getting through to them to begin with.
Just general charisma.
Yes. Yeah, general charisma. Alright. They are very focused on what is ahead of them. And despite the pounding sound of metal chasing them across these splintering docks, they don't seem to turn round to this.
Did you think that would actually work? Like you were just like, that's solid.
Yeah, you're going to buy 30s.
Yeah.
Very persuasive in his homeland.
Yeah.
Very persuasive.
You don't want to do that, alright.
Yeah, I mean,
Just like no backup plan. That was going to work.
So you doing anything else?
just getting more and more worried about what's going to happen.
Oh,
Okay.
his little red eyes.
He's staring guys like this, really upset.
I'm so worried it's going right now.
Alright.
Absolute demon behind them, and it's just like, are we going to stop?
Alright, Zaira, you're up.
I'm just going to get down to the side of Jade here.
Just here.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say to her, so you say this kind of thing happens here all the time?
Oh, so much. I mean, maybe not so much bombs, but yes, drama and chaos.
To be fair, I don't think I've ever seen anyone just go and grab a pint halfway through a fight.
I guess I'm a bit, how would you say, immune to the chaos a little, you know? I mean, I don't really know this man, so why would I help?
I guess so.
Everyone's so quick to jump to his aid.
And
You
I'm
never
gonna
know what secrets Gizmo can have.
head down the bottom of the stairs, and I'm gonna also head for the bar.
Okay.
Good shout.
Well, if you can't beat them,
Have a pint, of course.
Okay. All right, Crumbs.
just the bottom of the stairs.
I'm not going to do that.
You're not gonna join us for a drink.
I don't think I will.
I hope you're just watching us three scope.
I probably did.
It's like, what are we doing?
Like a married couple's
Are they
argument.
keeping still? I am keeping it still. So yeah, use mark and reload again. And can I see them? The guy at the front.
I believe you can see the guy at the very back only,
Right.
because of the wall.
Okay. I'll take the shot at the one on the back.
Okay.
Not you. Is a 19 to hit.
That hits.
£13 points of piercing damage.
Is this a lethal shot or a non-lethal
Yeah.
shot, just to clarify?
I mean, I want to whittle him down first. The other guy took 2.
Okay. Yeah, you just plow another bullet into this individual's back. It injures them. They don't look too disheartened by it.
Right, in that case, I'll use my bonus action and start chasing him down. So, big dash. Well, yeah. Think a minute.
And that's your bonus action.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It will be 9.
Okay. All right. As Gerford is being carried away by this guard, the other guards around him start to form like a blockade and turn upon these individuals pursuing Gerford. You watch as there's a flash of light from the area, and Gerford and the guard are just completely gone. You see, as the rest of the individuals like mowing down as much as possible in their way and just trying to fight through these guards to get to them, notice this, and this fighting just completely ceases, and they look around and just start to disperse in all manner of directions. 2 of them are going to sprint this way, and then they're going to blink an extra 30 feet. And these 2 are going to start to come this way. One of them, which I'll put a ring around, starts to take up into the air. You watch as this contraption, they just unveil from the back, sort of like flick of the wrist, and these almost like cloth wings flow out, and they just launch themselves, and you watch as this magical effect appears on the cloth, and it just launches them straight into the air. These guys are going to continue and just start to... Yes.
There. Let's get out.
They're gone. All right. Are the rest of you continuing to pursue?
After we've got his head off, I'm just going to turn around and say, ale again? I mean, that's payday.
Yeah. I don't see why not. Just give me a minute to sort this body out.
Still carving through it.
Well, once I've cut his head off, I'm gonna, prepare him for the afterlife and whatnot.
Okay.
So,
I'll just rip a bit of his cloak off that he had of his clothes, tie up the head, and just start walking off
Okay.
back to the ale place.
Is anyone else continuing to pursue right now?
Pursuing alcohol.
Okay. Pursuing alcohol, more alcohol.
I'm guessing they're just running away. Like, no chance.
Your call. Alright. There's a huge wall in the way of you right now anyway.
Yeah.
You're looking down your sights and you can just see them disappearing behind this wall. You see one of them take off into the air. I'll allow one last shot at this person in the air.
it's a nice target there.
What's the range of your weapon?
80 to 240.
It'd be at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Was it the guy I hit before?
It actually is, yeah.
Nah, not a chance. It's only a 13.
13. The shot flies close, but a little bit wide. Just watch as he sort of like banks out of the way in midair, and it starts to descend, but in the very far distance. All right. Well, after that warm up, what a first fight.
Yeah. You two hacking away.
That shows off what we're all about.
Yeah,
That's an introduction to your character at the very least. Okay, so we're going to go on a little break right now. We're going to take about 15 minutes and we'll be back at, our time would be 8:45.
So 15 minutes.
In 15 minutes from now. Let's get some slightly less intense music on
Sure.
as the battle comes to a cease. A little bit better. Oh, okay. Alright, well, we'll be back in 15 minutes or so. And hope you've enjoyed so far. See you guys soon.
Bye.
In a bit.
And we are back. Alright, let's get rid of that battle map.
Bye bye. I mean, it's still here for us, but bye bye.
That is not what I want. There we go. I want people's characters rotating around.
Yay.
There we go. Alright. Let's jump back into our story then, shall we?
Let's go.
let's do it.
We had an interesting battle. One where many of you didn't actually take any actions at all other than drinking.
Yeah.
Some of you severed heads. And the enemies seem to mainly be focused on anything but yourselves. Though fleeing, essentially, when their target had left. So, as things start to die down, and the docks start to come back to a little bit more harmony in the area, you find yourselves pretty much the only people around this part right now. And all sort of start to coalesce around this stand of ale, which has been entirely abandoned in all the havoc that was cut loose by a vast explosion, followed by perplexing after effects. So, over to the rest of you.
Once we make it back to the ale stand, grabbing a pint of ale, I'll just start looking around and see if that coin that I gave him fell during the explosion. Still with the head in its little sack. And I imagine you'll be with me?
Yeah, once I've
It's
done my
hiding its
ritual
little sack.
thing.
Yeah, just over my shoulder, drinking and I'll go. Well, I didn't expect that, but hey, that's accommodation paid for.
50 gold is 50 gold.
Well, I sure hope you do plan on sharing that out.
My head.
Our head.
Our head. Our head.
So where's the guy's leg?
It's over. Just behind there, with the rest of him. You can have that.
The one
It's
I
in the
shot
dock.
off, yes.
It's in the dock now, I'm
Oh.
afraid.
It's in the dock. Why is it in the dock? It's in the dock.
Well, I certainly ain't getting that back now, am I?
Nope.
So, I'm sure we can all agree that we all chipped in quite a lot.
No. No. I don't know what you were doing.
You have a very nice head.
I've got to say that we did absolutely nothing. The two guards that just stood there with like an ale.
I just
Honesty.
teased them.
I appreciate that.
But, I mean, no one's touching that guy anyway. That's with the defences around him.
Was that guy important? I liked his fire explosion thing. That was cool. But the rest of it was just dribble.
You really don't know who that was?
I just was like a gnome.
Toward east.
Do I know who that was?
I mean, I'm not even gonna make you roll a history check. You know who this individual is.
Okay.
He is not only famous for all of the quite often mad inventions, but also the very successful inventions that this particular individual has created. And not only that, but you'd know them as one of the founders of this. Not them, but their family lineage. So Gizmo Tink are sort of very, very well known all across these lands.
It's, a good guy to have done a favour for, shall we say.
Rich?
Ooh.
I mean, from the state of the hat, when we first saw him, I think he might just do a good job of getting rid of himself. Maybe he doesn't need the hand from all these guys.
Oh no, I mean, they run the city, but who knows really what they are like.
So do you two work for Gizmatink?
No. We're just part of the Synod enforcement. It lies beneath, but I mean, things like these happen quite not often, but occasionally, and they seem to work themselves out eventually. The people that matter have the protection they need anyway, so I wasn't too worried, and they'd already sort of got away. And it's interesting though. Your group, noble, running into action that fast. Although you were obviously coerced with with payment. That's what drives all groups there.
You do a job, you should get paid for it.
We do.
Yeah, but clink, and I say, not really much of a job. I mean, you call yourselves enforcement. I didn't really see any enforcement.
Well,
It's like
some
calling-
days are better than others.
It'd be like that guy calling himself a killer. You know what I mean?
Who you pointing to?
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to see the show.
Just looking curiously at you. So, what is your business? Yeah?
I just wanted to see the show.
For educational purposes or fun?
It reminds me of better days.
The explosion with the fire? That reminds you of better days. or do you mean the part before?
The extravagance, the show, the science.
So you like extravagance?
The explosion was better days for me. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
Well, Philip? Top up? Starts helping themselves. Just passing around a few.
These are the best town guards.
Great.
Welcome to Korssarin Port.
Mind if I have some myself?
So do you two know where you'll be going for your payment?
Yeah, he shouted something before that guard like shoved his whole hand on his face.
Oof.
Could I remember during the heat of it when I was too busy trying to pull the guy's leg off?
Say again, what are you trying
Trying to remember
recall?
where he said I'd go to get payment.
Oh, he just said to Gizmo Tink Industries.
Okay.
I know
It's,
where his shop is.
it's the place he was yelling about. His shop or something.
Yeah.
But there's no rush. We're new here. May as well explore a bit, have some fun.
I mean, you don't want that head staying around you for too long. So that's going to get a bit whiffy.
Just ahead.
These will rot in time. Do kind of want to get rid of it.
So you thinking if I don't give it soon I will lose payment if it starts rotting? Shit, we better get a move on.
I mean, it could be. It could be. Some people are very picky about. I mean, even just the head. You know, they might not fully agree with you bringing them just a head. You never know.
At this point you'll see like a blue tinge run across my face. So a different face bulge out a little bit. And say, he's not going to pay us.
Okay, calm down. You perceive and you're so touchy.
Sort of rub my head.
Calm down. It's fine. I'm sure it will be fine. They'll pay you. If not, I'm sure you can make them.
Maybe not myself, but Mara might have something to say.
I wouldn't be. I mean, everyone knows not to threaten Gizmo Tink Industries. But if they recognise the head, I'm sure they'd pay. No problem. And I'm sure he had a good look at his shooter. He has a keen mind, that crazy one.
Well, better gonna move on.
No, we'll let him have a bit. I mean, he's just had an excitement, hasn't he? We'll maybe go at morning.
True. Time for him to change his pants.
Exactly.
Start filling it back up again.
So what's this? Is everyone here some sort of group day out? What are you all doing here?
I live here. What are you doing here?
We know he's here to see the show.
Yeah.
I'd assume everyone's here to see the show. never fails to please.
I mean, Gizmo think.
It was entertaining, was it not?
The ale was good, and the explosion.
Exactly. The ale's the best.
I wouldn't have it in my kitchen though. That technology.
There's nothing wrong with good old tinderbox if you want a fire.
I think they've just too showy for me, you know? Too showy.
Well,
They lack elegance to them.
they have
you know?
extravagance, though.
Extravagance, yes, is good, but you have to pair that with a bit of elegance.
Don't-
I mean, that was just an explosion. They set fire to that poor person's house over there. Look, there's a screaming child.
Carry on drinking.
Well, maybe it is time for us to do the rounds then, and he sort of like glances
Maybe.
on over.
Maybe make sure that they're not, a bit messed up in their heads now,
I'm sure they'll be fine. Everyone is a little bit messed up in this place.
Oh,
Is there a child on fire then?
Not a child on fire.
There's just a kid stood there with 2 copper in his hand for milk, looking mortified, shaking.
Well, I mean, this will be our last one then. You enjoy until they come back anyway. Make the most of it. If you say you're looking for money, it wouldn't be a bad idea to, if you could get an in with these people. People like these target Gizmo think every now and then. Not many dare to, but those who do manage to vanish. If you were to track them down, maybe you could find some payment in it. Maybe you could even discuss it with them. That's if you're looking for money. Anyway, we should probably tend to that child. Just downs the ale, slams it on the table and starts to walk over.
Now, why can't more city guards be like them?
Some are.
I'd say it was the first for me, anyway.
Oh,
Really?
hold on. Come on then. No. Grey Cloud will come out.
Okay.
Whoa,
You want to describe this?
Yeah. So he's going to come out just where the bar is, down where they are, and it's a tiny, small little spirit of a child that is blue like me, but
A little bit of
faintly looks like an
blue
oldish
tinge.
child.
Hey, Gray.
He's going to look like he's smiling at you. Yes, yeah. New friends, I think, maybe. You don't want to know what we just did. No. Just watch that fire. That's it.
Did you just give birth?
No, this is Grey Cloud. He's
You say
he's
that
me
as a-
grandson.
They are slightly translucent as well.
Go on.
Your grandson lives inside of you.
Well, a manner of speaking, I suppose he does.
That's messed up, but I like it.
See, Storm, you've started something now. Yep, okay. Just don't cause any trouble. I'm gonna split into 2.
You people multiply.
You're gonna see similar looking as Max, but much angrier expression. A little bit bigger built. Same black hair, but more like bluey than Max's like pale skin. He's gonna immediately rip Nail off. Just start chugging as much as he can. I'm going, easy, Marrow. Same body, remember?
Okay, so who's who out of you two?
Max Marrow.
Max and Marrow. Okay, I just like to know who I'm talking to.
Or people call me Rage.
Okay. I'm Jade.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Storm.
Storm. So pretty.
I'll
Storm
wave at you.
Weatherbreak.
Marrow will not be paying any attention to
That is okay. Okay, so Did I get your name before? I just offered to be a tour guide, and I realized I didn't know who you two are.
The name's Dara.
Dara, that's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Very elegant.
My name's Crom. And yourself?
Oh, shit.
Is it?
Yes.
So what's your name, big guy?
Dr. 3 Adnon.
I will call you Doctor.
Doctor it is.
What's up, Doc? You know, nothing.
Green Cloud, stop staring at him. Yes, I know he's metal. Shh. He's listening. No.
I'll try and pat him. I think it might go through.
Yeah, just go through it.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind me asking, it's just very intriguing. You say it's your grandson,
Aye.
and how? Like, how has it happened? Like, how is he in your body?
That is a great question with a very long answer.
Oh, that's fine then. Okay.
Max and Mara will have pulled up next to each other if there's any chairs, and they'll be playing dice game. Max will be going, you're so bad at this, Maro. Shut up, Max!
That is adorable.
We almost got kicked off ship with them playing dice like that.
Oh, people are so... They're just not understanding.
Mara at this point will look you in the eye and go, usually when you try and throw someone off the ship, they get a little tetchy. I wanted to pull out axe and go to town, but he wouldn't let me.
I think you're going to fit right in here. Don't you worry.
See a big grin go across his face. Max is just going to be going, please don't encourage him.
Oh, encourage it. You need to keep your wits about you in the city. Okay? Use that rage. People are going to try and mess you around.
That's where the nickname comes from. Give you a little wink.
You flirt, you. So, what were people's plans for today? Before all this explosion and extravagance, you two had just arrived, no?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you're well aware that he was maybe taking us for food or show us where we can get food or somewhere.
Is
to
the
stay?
ale not enough? Oh, okay, yes, we can find you food.
This one might need to eat. He's a little on the small side.
Are there any bear snacks?
Just peanuts next to it. No. This looks like it was a haphazard setup where it was like a last minute, we can make quite a bit of money doing this, and then it went awfully wrong.
Okay, well, there's plenty of taverns nearby. What would be the best kind of one to go to?
You've got two options near the area. You've got the pesky secretarian or the high-flying courthouse, if you want something slightly more upmarket.
Ooh. I mean, we have quite a mixed bag here.
They are a classy bunch.
And we have
I
a 7
think,
human head.
Was it the pesky escutarian?
Secretarian.
Secretarian, whatever it is called, that one. We'll go there, because I think that will be a bit more accepting of maybe you, and you and your child, and yes. I think just the group in general.
I have shoes on.
You do, and they look stunning on you.
Thank you.
How's the entertainment in this place?
It tends to be a lot of sea shanties.
Yeah?
Mm.
Do you know any sea shanties?
Sea shanties. I mean, it's been a while, but
But you know some.
I'm sure if I can't join in, at least I can dance to them.
You will be fine.
Oh, hold on, kid. He wants to know if you can play that flute.
It's a whistle,
Whistle, sorry.
but I can
It's a
play
whistle.
it. Yes, I can play it. I wouldn't carry it if I couldn't play it.
Would you play it, he says.
Would I play it? Now you see, there's the question. Of course. Oh, right. You mean right now? Okay. Maybe we can get settled in the tavern first.
If you look down at him, he's got a very disappointed face.
Okay. Have him make a persuasion check.
Would that be charisma?
You can set the own DC in your head, looking at these sort of translucent puppy dog eyes
Yeah.
of this little.
That's a nat 20.
The ghost child
I mean, I was
Puss in
thinking
Boots.
25.
Yeah,
No.
it is grow.
So I'll look at him, and I'll see the thing on his face, and I'll look at my.
A couple of tears start welling.
Be animated.
Well, I suppose I could give you a little tune while we're on our travels on the way there, if it's a must.
He'll dance around you a bit.
All right, make a performance check.
Get a whistle in.
23.
23.
Ooh.
Very strong performance.
Good whistling.
Strong penny whistling.
Okay, so a bit like the Pied Piper, just marching through the streets of the Fish Square, the completely empty Fish Square as well. You see a few packed up markets. There's a couple of markets still open right now as you make your way through and start to come across this inn. This tavern that you have directed everyone to. The flourish of notes along the way is, absolutely divine, as Grey Cloud is just dancing around, floating on thin air and having the time of his life.
He likes you.
I won't answer because I'm still playing.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Just a nod.
Okay, so as you approach this old, weathered, stone-built, very rustic old wood structured beams holding up the centre of this very fisherman's-like tavern, you can hear a bit of noise. It is getting a little later on in the day right now, and not that the high rays of Inferno blasting down have started to subside in any way at all. However, you can feel the evening growing close and the music starting to fill the air. You enter on into this jolly atmosphere. Let's see if we can hit it first time. Maybe?
Nothing. Crickets.
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 As
Joyful
we-
This one.
crickets.
As we enter, I'll be like, one. You have to go now, Grey Cloud. People don't like you.
Oh.
I'll be
Gone.
doing the exact same thing with Marrow going, come here, fuck off. Like, no, come here, I know what you like. Form back
Yeah,
together.
you get that crick out your neck. Alright, as you enter on through the sturdy, weathered looking door, into this jolly atmosphere. You can see there's a performance currently going on from clearly a local singer from the accent of the area, and you can definitely see a few games going on, whether it's cards or dice. There's just a little bit of light-hearted fun happening. It's quite a large place, but it feels homely. You can see like a big open fire, completely extinguished at this point in the heat of Falaska. Yet there is still a chill on the breeze due to the area. You start to approach the bar and you see this this heavy-set middle-aged man, like bit of a scar on his face, few scars on his arms, very weathered-looking hands, calluses all over. It's like leans over with this sweeping like mane of like dark, coarse brown hair. Alright. What'll it be then?
Actually, we was wondering if you have board for the evening.
Bored, you say? That takes me back. You're from the mainland?
We travelled far to get here, yes.
I think I recognise. Alright. Bored, yeah. We have that posh stuff round here. So, yeah, if you want rooms for the night, that's fine. Just all of you?
Oh, no, I've got my own lodgings, of course.
Just gonna push gold over. Ale, please.
Okay.
Gold, I hope so.
I mean, that'll keep you going for a few rounds, to be fair. But yes, we how many rooms then?
I mean, I don't mind to share. Obviously, I've been in your company for a while.
Sure, don't mind.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You just
No.
You kind of just met on the boat.
Oh, so but you would make such a cute couple.
it triggers in your mind that Dr. 3 Adnot just agreed to you sharing a room as well with them. And you sort of like glance back at the red eyes just staring you down at these bared teeth.
Do you happen to have triple rooms? Three in one, or
Yeah, we can manage that. No problem.
extra long beds?
For one of his size?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can sort that out.
We'll take that.
Okay.
I guess it's staying with me.
Do you want to bunk up or go separate?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay.
Cheaper.
Room for 2, please.
Alright, well, I mean, that'll just be a gold piece from yours, and
A
well,
gold piece.
no, just for
I
these
got
two,
this.
and then gold
Actual
and 2 silver from yourself.
Okay.
During all this, I'm just going to be going around tables sneakily and filling up the tankard that I got from outside.
Okay.
Just like getting leftovers and just filling it up.
Minesweeping.
Firstly, make a oh my god.
Sleight of hand or
Nope. Where's it gone?
no?
An insight check for me. That word just escaped my brain. Just so you're targeting the correct drunk people.
Yeah.
You're quite well versed at this.
14.
14. Okay, you sort of start to discern who's more drunk than the rest and who's less likely to notice. So make that sleight of hand check now.
Nice. Are you serious?
Crit fail.
Yeah, crit fail. What is up with my dice tonight? That'll be both of them going in there.
All right, you sort of like go over to this group that is currently like quite engrossed in playing cards, and there's this one individual that looks quite sloshed. They're sort of like laid back with the cards in one hand. They sort of like transfer them to the other, take a big swig, and put the ale back down. You sort of like go on over and you sort of brush against the shoulder on one side and start to dart towards the other as they look on over, and you start to grab towards the tankard and they just grab hold of your arm.
Ooh.
Really firmly. They sort of like turn to face you with these piercing green eyes. Yeah, I would not be doing that if I were you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you not finished with that drink? Sorry, I work here. I was just cleaning glasses.
Make a deception check.
Oh,
Do I see this happen?
Make a perception check.
We just bought a round of drinks.
4.
4. What is with you and 4s?
I don't know.
You want to know the dice?
6.
Just give me all
No,
the
you don't notice this.
Can I try and what's going on?
Yeah, go on then.
That's 11.
11. You sort of you turn around and you see this altercation start to take effect.
Okay. I'm just going to give Storm the nod, put my tanker down, and just slowly start walking over, nonchalantly.
Okay. All right. This is a frequent establishment of mine. I think I'd recognize you, unless you're new here.
Oh, I'm so new. So very new.
Well, if you're so new here, maybe I'll let you off this one time. But don't ever touch a drink that is not finished with.
So you weren't finished?
No.
No? Oh, you need to drink up. Get some drink in you, and I'm just gonna hold it up to it.
Make a strength check. This guy's a big guy.
I'm not trying to like force it.
Yeah, you're just pushing it gently
Yeah.
towards him.
18.
All right.
I've got a -1 on strength.
Which is hilarious because he's got a lot more, but he only rolled an 11. So that he might be like looking at you with these piercing eyes, but you can see there's like a glaze over the top where this like drunkenness is definitely taking effect. And like as he tries to push down, you just like push it further, and he's just like.
You have such a seductive
True,
stare.
and just starts to chug on it as though he's not being overpowered by this measly 5-foot girl.
That's it. Just keep drinking it. Keep drinking.
Does he let her go, or is he still holding?
Yeah, no, let's go and just like
I'll
glares
catch
on
up with you
over.
later.
Yeah, we'll see.
As she walks off, I'll sort of put my arm leaning and go, you need to be careful. These types won't think anything about laying someone like you flat out on the floor.
Oh, I know. I love a good bar fight.
I'm going to look at this really small lady and go, whatever you say.
Did you not grow up in bar fights?
Grew up in a lot worse than bar fights.
Oh, you have stories to tell, and I love it.
No, I don't.
Oh, you do. Everyone has a story. Right, well, did I get any drink from anyone else?
We bought a round of
Well,
that?
you walk back to the bar and realise that there's a round of drinks on the bar.
Guys,
drinks.
you
Yeah.
guys are the best. So you sorted for boards and everything?
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, one thing that I am going to check. When you disposed of the body, because I'm assuming that you pushed it into the port side after saying a quick prayer. Did you remove the bag on this individual's back?
Obviously.
I'd have thought so.
It's been on my back now for a while.
Just in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
I assumed so. Because you wouldn't just be going like, I can see that there's like some copper in that, and some gold in that pouch on its side. I'll just chuck that in with it.
Weights it down.
Yeah. That's exactly what you want to avoid. It's sinking. So if anything, you were doing it in a favour.
So I'll beckon everyone around and I'll be like, shall we see what's in this? That headless fella had it on his back. I'll tip it out onto whatever table we're on to have a look.
Okay, you start to gather around the table, slam all the drinks down, and pour out the remnants of this bag. You find a few scraps of clothes, a small pouch of money that's sort of like tied on to a side pouch. It barely has anything in it, but is the main thing that sort of like caught your eye. However, a larger bag spills out of the main part of the satchel, and a singular dagger falls out in its sheath, as well as a few. Well, what you'd recognise to be these the capsules of bullets. There is one other thing, and I'll have you make a religion check.
Critical fail.
Incoming. Not bad.
Hey!
18.
Okay, as you like start rifling through the bag, and you can see that there's this this sort of like cloth sack in the middle of the bag. You take that like out, and out of it falls this this like golden pendant. It is a symbol that you do recognise. Not too uncommon. Appears to have a sort of like a lock and keyhole on this gold coin round this chain as well, and you recognise this as a religious symbol for the locksmith.
In the meantime, I'll take the dagger off of the table. Does anyone mind if I have a little look at this?
Fill your boots, it's a bit too small for me anyway.
I'll have a look at the dagger.
Okay.
Do I notice anything about it, or is it just a normal dagger?
From what you can tell, it just appears to be the average sort of like average dagger.
Was you planning on sharing this loot?
As you say that, I'm going to say, well, we all chipped in of a sort, and well, I'm like offering it to everyone with the money.
Make a sleight of hand,
Everyone else.
and it's going to have to beat everyone's passive perception.
Oh,
Definitely you. 'cause
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna kill you.
probably. I might try and create a distraction.
Sleight of hand.
What are you doing?
Um,
Well, firstly, roll an insight check to see if you can anticipate that this is going to
that's
happen.
a 6.
No, you have no
It's
idea.
alright, 'cause this was pretty
The intelligence and wisdom that you possess does not give you privy to this upcoming
Yeah.
event. You've got an ale in your hand and a big smile on your face.
So that's 24 sides.
That's really.
All right, you just pocket that.
Yeah.
No one's passive perception is that good.
Definitely not.
What is that roll?
There's a 19.
Bloody hell! All right,
Thank you, Duck Dice.
a lucky duck in the centre.
So, would you mind if I took this dagger as my own?
Be my guest.
Thank you.
The pendant.
Mhm.
So it's the locksmith, and I know what it symbolises. tell me anything about the place? It's not like some sort of cult or something, is it? Or
It's not so much a cult. It's they're often people that follow money as their main incentive. They can be swayed by gambling and other such afflictions. Not so much culty, but very often very absorbed within themselves.
Was that guy one of the people in the red cloaks? Or was he
No.
wearing something else?
No, the people in the red cloaks, like that sort of like crimson attire, they were chasing down remnants of this other group that
Right.
were on the outskirts. They didn't. This group didn't seem to have any form of uniform, but they did seem to all sort of like disperse in a frenzy upon seeing all of you guys draw weapons and the main culprit trying to escape.
If nothing else, this might be worth some money for the information. Tomorrow.
Sounds good. Something
Roll
we
it
can
out.
bargain with. Puts us a step ahead.
I'll put the locksmith sign in the bag with the head.
Okay.
Other than being a religious symbol, does the coin mean anything to me? Like, do I know of groups in the city that like carry this coin?
Roll a history check. 4.
Not far off. In fact, I think it is. Wait for it.
No.
It's a 4!
Oh.
What's that, like my 12th
Consistent.
four? Jesus.
Alright, if there is ever a name for you,
Yeah.
just forget Jade. We'll just call you 4 from now on.
Running out of room in the dice, Jay.
Jade
No,
Paul.
sticking with this for now.
You're not entirely sure. Anything to do with currency, you always link it to one place. You know that there's a temple to the locksmith in the Ark'ala quad, which is like the northern, northeastern region of the city. Other than that, you have absolutely no idea, and that's just generic knowledge that you would have.
Stupid 4s.
That is nothing from a 4. So who reaches from this this little smaller like cloth wrap bag that's fallen out of the bag? Okay, everyone sort of like left it to it as you just sort of like reach forward and look inside. It seems to be it's quite small, but about 7 or so, a little bunch of these extremely fresh and ripe looking pawpaw fruit.
Ooh. Delicious.
How much poison damage?
None yet. Wait for it to pass through the system.
They're great. Very delicious. Do you mind if I keep hold of these?
You go right ahead.
You guys.
Excuse me, sir. Would you have somewhere for us to dine?
Are you walking up to the bar and asking this guy then? Yeah, I mean, the table you got, you want it there, yeah?
That will be sufficient.
Great. Well, what'll it be then? Something all round, or just for yourself?
Is everyone wanting something to eat?
What's on the menu?
Well, I mean, if you like fish, you're sorted.
Works with me.
What is the
fish.
catch of the day?
And if
Fish.
you want something, if you want something real good, then we've got some turtles.
What? How much are turtles? I don't think I've ever had turtle.
How much are they? Well, I mean, they're pretty easy to get if you go far enough out. But yeah, I mean, you're looking. I mean, if all of you are wanting it,
No.
Well,
Okay.
yes, we'll just.
I mean, just for one, you're looking like 5 silver.
Turtle it is.
All right.
Throw over 5 silver.
Just fish for me, please, mate.
Yeah, I think I'll
Okay.
go with the best seller.
All right. No problem. Selves.
If turtle is catch of the day, I will take this.
I mean, it serves itself. Why not?
I'll just take one of the fish, please.
Maybe
Do you
it's
have
not so
ships?
Yeah.
I don't have ships.
Okay. Just.
I mean, if you have some red sauce on the side or something, that would be yes. But yeah, just ships will do.
I mean, I presumed I was getting chips with the fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't do fish.
What about turtles?
Yeah. It's just by itself.
Yeah,
Know what I
chips
mean?
are fine.
Fish is good.
Well, why don't you order hers with fish and just give me the fish?
I mean, yeah, yes, if you want,
That works.
my fish, yeah, we can do that. Will you pay
Whatever.
for a fish?
I'll throw some in, yeah.
Yes.
All right. Those of you having turtle, just knock 5 silver off. The rest of you just knock 2 silver off.
I will pay for it out of money I haven't added yet that I've just stolen.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you just reach in. There's a fair bit in there.
I'll add that later. Yeah.
All right. Just, eventually, your steaming hot meals are thrust in front of you with the force of the brutish bartender as he slams them down. The turtles served in their own shells. Bit of like a small plate on the side with a few like chopped up and cooked chips. As you dig into the decent common meal, starts to fill you up for the evening as you start to
Before I eat, I'm going to get like a handkerchief out of my.
Oh.
Right, just tuck it in. And,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, as you start to position yourself and relish in the ongoing performances of various types of like common sea shanties that are native to this region. All right. Is there anything else that you're wanting to do?
I'll play along with the sea shanties
Okay.
on my whistle.
I'll be getting very drunk, leaning in your ear and being like,
I once saw a turtle big as an house out at the sea. No one believed me, they said. Storm, you've been drinking, you have. But I said, nope. It's like a bloody bungalow, that.
that's what I'll be like chatting with all night.
You sort of stare into space for about 5 seconds and go,
The fuck's a bungalow?
Well, I heard that.
You are from very different areas.
When the builders were building the houses and they run out of materials, they said, "Oh, what are we going to do?" And the builder said, "Bungalow roof on it."
we're really drunk, sort of looking at you, but there's 3 of you. And they're going,
You know, bungalow roof on it. No. I'm just going to continue playing my
Just going to
whistle.
stand up, start looking for people playing cards, mind to myself, what the fuck's it all? I'm going to go up to that table.
Completely disregarding the explanation.
I'm going to go over to the table with a guy who's playing cards, the one that grabbed all the Jade's arm. I'm going to go really heavily on his shoulder.
Some jumps.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Is there room for one more?
Oh, you are a gambling man?
One of us is, yeah.
Oh, you one of them?
Grab a tool, grab a stool.
Well.
I remember, right? Just gonna grab a tool.
Yeah, how many pints you had?
Oh, a few, yeah. Yeah, so pull up myself.
Well, the more the merrier. I'll bring both of you.
So what are we playing?
Well.
So good at this whistle.
Bit of gin?
Oh, is the barman coming?
The game.
Oh, oh, okay. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that works.
probably doesn't have much. Maybe some vodka.
Just cards.
Start stealing you in. Okay. Alright. How are you going to be playing?
Drunkenly. But this is a staple. I'm used to playing cards drunk. So I'm going to try and bluff my best. And then,
Okay.
And then we'll see how it unfolds from there.
Alright. Firstly, make a constitution saving throw.
Okay,
Just
okay.
from all of the ale.
That's a 11.
11. Okay. You're feeling a little tipsy at best. You're fine. And all right, as you start playing and dealing and just roll a 20 for me. We're gonna see how good your hand is in comparison.
11.
Okay. So that resembles how good your hand is. So that's how confident you are. 20 being the best, and 0 or 1 being the worst. So, as you're bluffing, you are having to bluff this one.
Oh yeah. Stone cold.
You're just pushing like a. How much you putting in? You can see like one person just like raising a gold.
I'll match. Just
Okay.
gold in.
All right. Roll a deception check.
Oh, this can't be good. Oh, missed.
In the tray.
That's a 7.
A 7.
Oh, yay! You're really good at cards.
No, it's fine. I'm going to keep rolling it till it gets good. It's got to happen sometime.
Keep going.
I mean, that's definitely not what you should do with gambling.
I just think you don't have any money.
All right. Like there's a few of them around the table and sort of like looking at you. A couple of them fold. A few other people stick in. The guy that you were playing, like that invited you to the table, like looks at you closely and. Okay. I think we'll stick in this one.
I'm going to.
Tips of gold into the middle.
I'm going to give him inspiration.
Right? How?
I'm going to go up and down. I'm going to take my flute out and I'm going to say, you gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away and know when to run. And I'm going to give him inspiration.
Nice.
What do I get for that amazing
You
performance?
get.
Is it a D6?
D6, thank you. Is it this level?
Yeah. Alright, so you can add that to any rolls that are upcoming.
Lovely. I'll throw another gold in. Smile at him. I'll say, I like my chances.
Alright. Roll another deception check. As he, like, tries to eye you up one last time, looking deep into your soul.
God, I'm rolling that. So that's an 8. That's good. Still not amazing, but it's 14.
14. Alright, he just, like, looks at you. These piercing eyes almost feel like they penetrate through your actual soul. And it sort of unnerves you for a second, the glare that this individual gives.
I'll sort of go.
Well, I think we'll be matching on this one. Alright, I want you to roll one last time, and this will be the changeover, the last changeover of cards. And you're going to add this to your original, which I believe was an 11?
11.
Yes, so that's 23 together.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Alright, so how you feeling after that? Everyone else seems to just fold under the pressure of this individual at the top of the table.
I'll just shrug it off and I'll say, cards what they are. Just how
Okay.
you're feeling.
Well,
That matters.
let's raise it a bit then. Feeling confident.
What's he raising it to?
Just chucking an extra gold in.
Okay, we'll do the same.
How much of gold is in there?
Well, it's 3 from each of them, and there's 6 around the table, so you do the math.
Quite a bit of gold.
Well, no, it's 3 from each
Yeah.
of them, and yeah,
Yeah.
6 between them.
That's a lot.
18 gold is the 6th from playing it.
Yes. Okay, time to reveal hands then. If you're matching,
After you.
lay them out. As you both lay them out at exactly the same time, you see that you have exactly the same hands, but in contrasting suits. None of which are stronger than the other in this particular game.
This has never happened.
I believe this is a first for me as well. How about a game of 21 to decide? Alright, get your D12. This is how we're going to imitate it. You can draw by rolling. Obviously, if you hit 21, that's the highest. If you go bust, then you're out.
Okay.
You have to know when to stick.
Okay.
You know the rules.
Mhm.
Shall we?
Let's do it.
Alright. Draws a 9.
Draws an 11.
Okay. Let's keep things interesting, shall we? Obviously, the first draw, you cannot go bust, but let's hide these next ones.
Okay.
Feeling confident?
Pretty confident.
You're sticking?
I'm sticking.
It's going to take one more. You still sticking? Well, you seem confident. Shall we? Unfurls them. What's your score?
I rolled 2 11s.
Oh my god! So you've just gone bust.
Yep.
He reveals an arrangement of 3 cards, which also matches
No.
22.
No! Are you serious?
That is absolutely brilliant.
Okay. One more then.
True again.
Let's do it.
There's no winner from the matching loss. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Rolls a 1.
Rolled a 9.
Okay. Well, I think I will be drawing at least a few more. Start to calculate them. I'll be drawing another.
Place my cards down.
How are you feeling?
Same as last time.
He's gonna roll. He's gonna try and insight you. He's trying to gauge how confident you actually are. He rolled a 12, so you can describe anything that he gets from that.
My deception's not fantastic.
Are you trying to deceive? Because if so, then you want
actually,
to roll.
No, not trying to deceive. No, just straight up.
So how does he discern anything from it?
Probably that either I am very confident with my hand or I'm too stupid and too drunk to realise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So he sort of gets a bit of a mixed message, and he's not entirely sure. He's gonna draw one more.
This comes up as a draw. Jesus.
Okay, it's time. Shows 22 again.
Shows
21.
21.
Oh!
Yay.
You just scrape that 18 gold into your hands.
Man.
I'll get up. Hand over.
It is not bad. Beginner's luck. At this table.
Just gotta play the cards as they're dealt.
That defines luck.
I'll how many's there around the table?
There's 6 in total.
Okay, I'll flick a gold out to each of them and I'll say, gentlemen, here's a few on me. I'm just gonna wander back to the table quite happily.
Alright.
And as you sit back down, I'll be like, I don't know if that turtle had a family, but it must have been real big if it did. Because I'm like,
Still didn't stop the conversation even though I walked up. I'll ask for like a double vodka. I'll shoot that back, have a bit more ale, and I'll go. It's a size we're talking, so that big? And that'll just be the conversation.
Alright, what are the rest of you guys doing as you're sort of like settling down into the rest of the evening, sort of like getting ready to rest up?
Well, first of all, the guy that we killed, did he have a gun on
Do you mean the head?
Well, I'm more thinking the bag here, but did he have a cell phone on him?
Yes.
Is there an ammunition?
Yeah, the bullets that cascaded onto the table seem to be salvo in nature, so explosive and detonative.
Yes. Definitely gonna pocket a few of those.
Okay.
Is there a specific pouch for them as well, or?
There is a small pouch. You actually get 10 exactly.
Nice. I'll just attach the pouch to next to my other one.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just do some people watching, see if anyone's saying anything interesting. maybe talk to the barkeep for a bit, just about what happened today, and if, you know, he knows anything or has seen anything about it, or...
Okay. What? I mean, let's play that out.
Yes.
I can't give you information if you don't ask for it.
Barkeep, what is your name?
It's Jules.
Jules.
Yes.
Jade. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, too.
Did you hear what happened outside earlier? Just, I mean, it was
Yeah,
very
it was.
loud.
I mean, there was quite a crowd. I've had plenty of people coming here for a bit of refuge. So I've heard the story.
Oh. was
Gizmo
quite
Tink up to those crazy antics
Oh.
again.
Always.
He's a bright spark though, isn't he?
Bright spark, yes. But I don't know. Don't you think that...
Doesn't have an act for names though, does he?
No, he really doesn't. And, you know, don't you think that he has a bit too much money? A little bit? I mean, he's always creating these fancy scenes and it's just a bit too much.
I don't think much was on his side or fault, should we say, in that particular scenario. Anyway.
I mean, if you have people who are after you, you know, maybe doing a big presentation and show like that, I mean, you know, not everyone is going to agree with him and spreading the name of Gizmo Tink Industries, you know, it's a bit...
I mean, it's rare that anything so much as that happens around him, but it's always at events like that, I suppose. So...
Always with Gizmo Tink. Mainly.
Well, it's always a good show, though.
Oh, yes, I had a...
And it brings in
free air.
Well, can't believe that, can you?
Definitely not. But out of interest, I mean, you hear a lot of people, you know, praising Gizmo Tink, but occasionally you hear whispers, you know, about people who maybe don't agree with Gizmo and the power he owns.
Sort of like just leans into you. And, yeah, well, we don't really want much trouble. I don't know what you're trying to get at, but well, we try and stick out of those types of situations, if you know what I mean. Stick on neutral ground. I mean, this is technically their turf after all.
But you've not heard anything? I'm just interested.
Well, you seem like a smart individual.
Thank you.
One of the area. Probably been, well, sounds like you've been around for a lot longer than I have around here.
Oh, since I was a wee little one.
Well, maybe if you could track these people down that you saw. Was there anything notable about the person? Anything on them, or?
Yes. He had a gold coin, kind of like a pendant, you know, a bit flashy for me. I don't really go for gold personally. I like my silvers a bit more. But this was like a gold coin. It had a symbol. It had like a lock and a key.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. I mean, that could be anywhere in the city, really, or even outside. You're probably looking for something more discreet. I mean, if you're looking at clothing or other items, I mean, the thing with religion is it spreads everywhere, really. And I mean, if you were going to track that down, I mean, the richest people, or the people most obsessed with coin, well, you're either looking at the broker chord
I
or
was just about to say, yes.
the actual temple itself in the Ark'ala chord.
You don't think the cartel would have anything to do with it? They're quite high up, aren't they?
They seem to be about as noble as the rest of them. I wouldn't imagine any of the leaders getting involved in such antics.
Of course not. It was just a passing thought. But thank you. So you think broker court or what was the other one again? Sorry.
Well, it is Ark'ala where the temple is. Everyone knows the temple. Well, everyone around here.
I think I'd prefer going to the Ark'ala. The broker court isn't for me.
Well, like I said, I'm open to anything as long as it's not trouble.
Of course
But
not.
I'd probably try and look for something a bit more of a lead. If you're wanting to pursue that avenue, I don't know what you're hoping to get, but I hope you find it. Anyway, I've got to serve a few.
Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon.
Do you think that temple thing is about the same size as the turtle? Because I don't know what a fucking bungalow is.
I mean, that turtle, maybe. Ah, my usual bungalow though.
That's a big turtle. I've never seen anything that big. I've seen explosions that big. Never a thing.
One day, wait to see all sorts.
Right now I shall see my pillow. Push the table half off. Good night. Bon nuit.
Alright, as you start to vacate, is everyone starting to...
Oh, before I go, do you mind if I come back in the morning?
Of course, I mean, obviously, we was fully expecting you to join us.
You guys. I mean, so are you two heading to Gizmotics tomorrow?
Headman.
Headman, yes. I was thinking we could maybe, head over and just check out the locksmith temple. The ones that that coin is. I think that might have a lead. If we could maybe give them some more information, you could maybe ump our pay. Well, your pay.
Maybe. I mean, or he's from that temple and we'll just real annoy him with his head.
We could hide the head for a bit if you want. I could keep the head in my
It's in the
apartment.
bag with the head.
Okay, but we could take the coin out of the bag with the head.
I'll reach in.
No?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, thank
A little
you.
blood stained.
I'll just grab, some cloth or something and just.
Alright, from the little satchel that you got from the little bag of fruit you got, you just wipe the blood all over the bag of fruit and stick them back in.
I mean, if you want, temples tend to stay open quite late, no? I think. I could always go and have a little wander. Maybe before I head to my abode.
It's not safe. You're very small.
Oh, you caring for me?
You're about as tall as Grey over there.
Yes.
Oh, he's not there.
No,
Yeah.
he's not over here anymore. You poppy, you should head up to bed. I think you've had a little too many. Well, just enough, but you need to get your rest.
Grab the remaining ales that I have.
Just drench yourself in them.
Now I've had enough. Fall up the stairs.
Good night, Max Marrow. Right, well, I guess I'll stop by in the morning. And I can show you two around, definitely, but we can make our way over.
Absolutely. We'd really like to treat you for breakfast, just for showing us around and getting us to this place.
And for that, you can have one of my pawpaws.
Oh, very kind of you, but actually, I think I might be allergic.
Oh no! I will keep
You
you far
keep out
away.
yourself.
Yes. How about you, Popo?
Well, don't
And I
mind
send Juicy.
trying one for myself.
There you go.
How is it?
It's very juicy and very tropical, which is strange for this extremely cold region. And you start to question whether this can actually grow around here naturally.
Is this important?
Oh, I believe so. I can't imagine it being from around here.
Roll a history check.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just making bullshit up as I talk. I pretend I know things. It's not a 4.
Hey!
For once in my Korssarin life, it's a natural 20.
Oh, right, I was gonna say.
Sorry, unnatural.
All right, unnatural 20.
Yeah.
You're
Grow
not.
these in your garden.
You're not entirely. Yeah. You're not entirely sure if they are imported or not. But you know that they are very often sold on the outer markets, most notably near the Garden of the Cultivator. There's a couple of markets which have those in stock, and you've traversed all over the city.
Which quad is the Garden of the Cultivator in?
It's technically not in a quad.
The proper outskirts.
It's on the outskirts.
I changed my accent towards that nice mysterious voice just then.
Well, you're still not entirely sure.
I'm not sure. But
They might be imported.
it is sold somewhere outside the city. But I don't know.
Well, I'm just wondering where this guy got these from. So if it's from the outskirts, that's somewhere.
Yes, it is. Maybe that's a possibility that he's got some pawpaws on him. I mean, it could just be his lunchtime snack, you know.
Yeah, expecting to get away from that.
Everyone needs
He'd
to
find
eat,
himself
even
very lucky if he
snipers.
did.
I mean, you're a sniper. You need to eat, right?
Yes. But, I don't also travel around a lot. I tend to eat at places.
But you did just have a pawpaw for the first time, I imagine.
Yes, it was a new flavour, I guess. An interesting one.
Well, what a day you have had.
Yes. It has been a day. Didn't expect to be going both right into a fight. Hoping to at least relax a little bit. In any case,
Let's
I'll
go
have
and
this
do
in.
that now.
I will leave you to it. I will head out myself. And as I head out, I will try and just pick up maybe a glass that has like a little bit left in it that's lying on an abandoned table.
Okay, alright.
Like, just, you know,
Alright, yeah.
the dregs. And I'll try and pour. I'll find like an
Make
empty
a sleight of
table
hand.
and just pour the dregs like out. Sleight of hand.
'Cause at the end of the day, you're still nicking either
Yeah.
a glass.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah.
16.
16, right. Yeah, you managed to just sort of like swipe a few things and put them together and just like neck them on the way out. Exiting, you guys start to head on up to your respected rooms. The three of you together.
It's
So
gonna be fun.
yeah, we've
Yeah,
got
just
to.
the red eyes
We've got
glowing in the
Dr.
dark.
Thread Naught with Daira and Crom, and obviously Max Marrow and Storm, you're together. As Jade, you depart the facility.
I'll go on a little nighttime walk, a bit of a stroll, and then I'll just head.
Very accustomed with the city. Alright.
I don't sleep, so I am just going to sit in the corner.
Staring
Of
at
course.
you.
Just,
That
it's
poor
just,
barkeep.
just staring.
Oh no, you have to
What
bring
a,
with them.
what
Yeah.
a pleasant night you took.
Thunder in the background, you wake up, you just see a flash of.
The red eyes,
It's
like.
gonna be looking at you, just like.
You do notice eventually that the red eyes sort of like power down.
I'm going to be slightly weeping as
Oh.
well.
Hi.
Is it oil?
Yeah, it's leaking oil.
There's like a pool of oil in the morning just around you. Oh.
Okay, right. Well, on that slightly sad
Yeah.
note.
What's that all
What
about?
fun we've had.
That was a
We-
day.
we're going to call that the first session of rock and roll. Awesome. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved that, and I hope you guys enjoyed that as well watching. Well, there's not really much else to say other than we're going to be doing this every Wednesday for as long as we can think. For now.
Forever.
So we hope to see you there. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any things that you want to tell us, just message us on. We've got our social medias. We've got like Twitter and Facebook that you can message us on. I think you can even message on Twitch as well, can't you?
We're soon to have a TikTok account for all the little shorts and stuff.
There we go. I think everything will be in our Twitch about as well.
Yeah, the
We've
about
got like
page.
loads of links in there, so if you guys are interested in that. And yeah, we will be uploading this to YouTube as well. So if you're ever wanting to watch back on any stupid moments, I'm sure we'll be trying to clip a few bits as well. And if you guys have clipped anything along the way, really appreciate that. We obviously can't look at chat whilst we're doing this because that'd be a ridiculous thing to try and like.
Stay in character.
Yeah.
Do maths.
Yeah.
Chat.
Yeah, maths is enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we will also be trying to stream on Sunday, won't we?
Yes. We just
We'll
need
be
to
doing
decide.
something.
We'll do something. On
Well, I
Sunday.
think we're doing a craft day, aren't we?
I think so.
So, just nice and chill. We'll just be relaxing, doing some crafts, and yeah, if you fancy it, join in. If you don't fancy it, then hopefully we'll see you next time for our next D&D session, session 2. What's going to go down?
God knows everything.
Oh, good thing.
The search for the giant turtle.
Awesome.
Halfway through, we're going to get arrested.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you next week then.
See you next Wednesday.
To rock and roll. Bye bye.